Shalom, family. I know I'm starting this a little early. Something came up that I have to take care of. So I was scheduled to do this at 12:30, but I have to do it now. So thank you for being here. We're going to talk about Darryl George. Let me share my screen. Okay, I should have his. Yeah. Okay. I did this story probably a few months ago when it first broke. He is going to a school down in Texas, and the administrator, the principal, had a problem with his hair. And as you can see, there's absolutely nothing wrong with his hair. In fact, it looks very well kept. And they suspended him and they kept suspending him. And then he had to do a month at an alternative school. Well, he finished doing all of that. The first day he arrived back to that school, they suspended him again. Now, look, there is a Crown Act. And see, this goes back to me telling you these people don't respect laws. You can put all the laws you want on the books. If they want to get at one of us, they'll disregard every law just to get to one of us. And we've seen this time and time again, and it's happening in this case as well. They're totally disregarding the Crown Act and still going full steam ahead after this child. He shouldn't even be bothered with this at this point, but they won't leave him alone. As a parent, I can tell you, I don't know if I would continue to keep my son in that school. I guess it's a decision that his mother made along with their attorney because they do have a lawyer over this whole mess. And maybe they're just telling them to hang in there. I don't know. I'm not sure if I would be able to do that. That's all I'm saying. His parents, and other people have said there are white children in that same school with long hair. First they said it was his hair. Now they're saying it's the length of his hair. I don't think you can get around that with the Crown Act. It's not touching his collar. It's not all in his face and in the way, which I have seen people with dreads and their hair is all in their face and everything, but it's not the case with him. And if you got white children in there, because they said there was a white boy in there with locks, and the principal's excuse is that's his religion. This is the white boy's religion, so he can have locks. So, plenty of double standards here. Plenty of double standards. So let's get into it. All right. Let me stop sharing and then I'm gonna start sharing so I can show you the video. All right, so it's this one.
I should say. The notice states that the 18-year-old new at 3, a Barbers Hill High School student is suspended from school again for the length of his locks. Darryl George has spent the last 30 days in alternative school. He refuses to cut his hair that the school says violates its dress code. Today, he showed up for class at the high school. Administrators suspended him again, I should say. The notice states that the 18-year-old will be suspended for another 13 days. Back in September, George and his family filed a federal civil rights lawsuit against Texas Governor Greg Abbott, the state's attorney general, and school officials for allegedly failing to enforce the state's Crown Act law. Texas State Representative Ron Reynolds is the bill's co author. It makes it illegal to discriminate against people for having ethnic hairstyles like locks. Reynolds says he's working on new wording to ensure expanded protection to include the length of a person's hair.
This morning, we are learning more about the
Okay.
suspect who is accused of
That
killing
should not even matter. All right. That should not even, the length of his hair should be irrelevant. And the reason why I'm saying that is because his hair is up, it's not down. So I just think that they are nitpicking and just looking for a problem at this point. I could see if he was wearing his hair down and you had a problem with the length of his hair. His hair is up. It's not even touching his collar. How can it be that big of a problem with his hair? They really hate seeing us with natural hair. They really truly hate our natural hair, y'all, and it should not be this way at all. Monica Gregory, thank you so much for the Cash App. And it shouldn't be this way. So I think at this point they're just nitpicking around and just looking for any reason to suspend him at this point. And how is it that no one from the state is coming in on the school because they're in violation of the Crown Act? All right, so it's Barbers High School sends black student back in school suspension over his lock hairstyle. So, a Texas high school sent a black student back into suspension Tuesday, just this past Tuesday, for refusing to change his hairstyle, renewing a month-long standoff over a dress code policy the teen's family called discriminatory. Yes, it is discriminatory because the only one getting punished over their hair are black students. Nobody else is getting punished. So anyway, the student Darryl George was suspended for 13 days because of his hair. They said it was out of compliance and when let down, according to the disciplinary notice issued Barbers High School. All right, so this is in I think it's Mont Bellevue, Texas. It was the first day back at the school after suspending him a month at an off-site disciplinary school. He shouldn't have been there. That's for those unruly kids always getting into fights and always causing problems. He wasn't doing that. He didn't belong at an alternative school at all. So anyway, George, 18, already spent more than 80% of his junior year outside of his regular classroom. He was first pulled from the classroom at a Houston area school in August after school officials said his braided locks fell below his eyebrows and earlobes and violated the district dress code. No, it doesn't. When you look at him in this picture, you don't see nothing falling below his eyebrows. And even that first picture I saw of him in August, his hair very much looked like it does now. So they said it violated the district's dress code. His family argues the punishment violates the Crown Act, which became law in Texas in September. In fact, it was the following day after he was disciplined, the Crown Act went into effect and intended to prohibit race based hair discrimination, which he is definitely facing. The school says the Crown Act does not address length and it doesn't have to. This is his natural hair, regardless to whether it's long or short. You can't use any kind of hair discrimination. So we are just trying to take it day by day. That's all we can do. His mother, Daresha George, told the Associated Press, "We do not see the light at the end of the tunnel, but we're not giving up." The dress code policy at Barbers Hill Independent School District attracted headlines in 2020 when back then it was another Black student that was forbidden to return to school or attend their graduation over their locks. So they got a history of doing this to Black students. All right, they got a history. So Greg Poole, who has been the district superintendent since 2006, said the policy is legal and teaches students to conform as a sacrifice benefiting everyone. No, no, and only one it benefits are the white administrators that want him to change his hair. No, it don't benefit nothing. So anyway, the school official said George was sent to a disciplinary school for violating the dress code and the tardy policy, disrupting an in-school suspension classroom, and not complying with school directives. As he completed his punishment there, the district spokesperson, David Bloom, said George was told he would go back to in-person suspension unless he trimmed his hair. I'm finding it hard. This is Texas. I'm finding it hard. He is the only one in that school district. But, like I said, back in 2020, they had a problem with another Black child's locks. So, it's these folks that are running it. So George's family filed a former complaint with the Texas Education Agency and federal civil rights lawsuit against the state's governor and the attorney general, along with the school district, alleging they failed to enforce the new law um, outlawing discrimination based on hairstyles. So the district has filed a lawsuit in state district court asking a judge to clarify whether a dress code restriction limiting student hair length for boys violate the Crown Act. State Rep Ron Rentals, a Democrat and chair of the Texas Legislative Black Caucus, said he planned to file an amendment to the law during the next session to specifically address length to stop their pretextual argument to not comply with the Crown Act. So he said he's going to add it in there, and now they won't have an excuse to go against the Crown Act. But to me, the Crown Act should stand for itself. What he got on his head is natural hair. That is a natural hairstyle. And to me, that's already covered in the Crown Act. The length is something they're throwing in there. So they are acting in bad faith to continue discriminating against African American students, Reynolds said in an email. George said he feel like he's being singled out because there are other boys in the school with longer hairstyle than his. That's exactly what I'm saying. I find it hard to believe he's the only one in the school district that got long hair. Okay. But he got his in an updo. It's not even down. So he even says there's other boys with longer length hairstyles than his. He was denied an exemption that his family requested because of the hairstyle cultural and religious importance. It's frustrating because I'm getting punished for something everyone else is doing, growing hair, having hair, George said. Yeah, well, you are in Texas, unfortunately. Thank you, One Mystery, for the super chat. It says, all right, let me get to that. It says you can choose gender, but you can't choose your hairstyle. Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. This should not be happening with a Crown Act that was signed into law. But you know what, y'all? Look, this place never follow laws. Look, you got all kinds of housing discrimination laws in place, and they still do all kinds of things in housing to black couples or anybody that, in our community that buys a home. And they got housing discrimination laws on the book, and they still go out here and they still discriminate. Look at all the discrimination that goes on jobs. They got laws against that. They don't care. These people don't care about laws. They never have, they never will. They ink something into law and then don't follow the law. Look, they got laws against make falsifying phone calls to the police, but they won't enforce those laws on Karen, and that's all she does. So just because something is a law and written on the book, it doesn't mean these people are going to follow it. They are notorious for not following laws, y'all. For real. No, at this point, he went to the alternative school. You said hair length. His hair is not dangling down his back. Now you're just looking for any reason to be coming at this teenager. This shouldn't be happening at all. What they're doing, in my opinion, they are now officially breaking the law. So, Texas, either you're going to enforce that Crown Act, or what did you put it out there for? Just for show? Mm, mm, mm. Well, my heart goes out to him and his mother. I know they're in a legal fight now, and I hope they win, but I'm concerned about the psychological toll that it's taking on him. I am concerned about that. So, I hope everything goes their way. I hope it's not long and drawn out, because if it is, it is going to leave a long lasting effect on him for the rest of his life. Mm, mm, mm. Y'all, thank you for being here. And again, I apologize for having to do this a little earlier than I had planned, but I still wanted to get this in before I get into some personal things that I need to take care of in my life. So please enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll be coming back with another topic. Shalom, family.